Oh, hello. Today we are here for one of the most important videos I do, which is roasting / predicting what is going to be in the Goodreads Choice Awards for the year in the mystery thriller category. Now, I had an interesting experiment opportunity that I could not pass up, and I need to just go ahead and do this because honestly I saw that Meg and Ashley had posted their predictions and I can't watch theirs until I make mine. So there we go. But because, you know, we're living in the worst timeline, I have been having to do some training in AI. And one of the things in the training class was to pick a topic that you know a lot about and then try to do some research on it. Because that way you kind of have a leg up on being able to correctly prompt it and being able to assess the results. So I decided that we are going to compare my picks against what AI generated. And strap in, folks, because it is interesting. So I am going to be fair. I decided I would limit myself so that because I had to limit what I could give it. So I'm also limiting myself. So here is the prompt that I gave to it. Okay? As a book reviewer, create a list of the 20 most likely nominees for the 2025 Goodreads Choice Awards in the mystery thriller category, based on Goodreads average star ratings, total number of reviews, and mentions in Goodreads blog posts. Do not use any other source than the Goodreads.com site, and do not use any books published outside of November 2024 to October 2025. Explain why your picks are likely and include other possible contenders that you did not select. It did not do so. You know, I can't believe this is what we're killing the planet for, guys, just as a side note, but I went back and forth. I got it the best I could get it, including eventually reminding it that it couldn't be anything lower than a 3.5 star. So all that being said, what I did, so I have its list, and then I have what I've been doing. What I did in parallel was I went through all of the Goodreads blog posts and I pulled all of the mystery and thrillers that have been mentioned. So I am not going to have any X Factor choices this year because I didn't let it do that. So we are going to go head to head to see what my list looks like versus its list. And it is an interesting, it has some interesting picks. We'll just leave it at that. And I am just going to pull up my little listeroo here and do a little screen record and we'll get into it. So just a second. Okay, so let's get this ad out of the way. So these are the 117 books that I saw in the blog posts. I am sure I've missed some, but this was my best faith effort to match the same data set that it was looking at. Guys, anyway, okay. I figured if I was having to do this, I might as well do something for science for us. So I did this for you because I know my picks are not going to be as good as last year's because I'm limiting it so much. Okay, so let's start by eliminating anything, because I also grabbed the picks that it had in here. Let me eliminate anything that I know doesn't count. Okay. Well, some of these, though, I think may have been published in other languages. These were all on, I recognize, I think, all of these from the blog. So these must be other editions. So, okay, I'm just going to assume that these are other editions and that we're okay on dates. Now, let's go to the ratings and see what we can eliminate. Oh, no, this is my rating. Let me add. So let's start by eliminating anything where I know that the criteria is that it has to be 3.5 or higher. So we'll start by eliminating anything that does not have a high enough rating. Oh, wow. Okay. Julia Bartz. Let's see what all's gone here. I'm just going to scroll through. Riley Sager does not have the numbers this year, folks. That's interesting. Yeah, if I found okay. The ones I've read, I'm not surprised Sky. Hot Wax. Okay. Well, I thought that might be more horror anyway, but interesting. Okay, so let me eliminate these real quick, and then we'll go on, and then I'm going to see how many, if there's any we can eliminate just based on the number of ratings. Okay, we've eliminated the ones that are too low. Now let's go through and eliminate the ones with not enough ratings. I can't remember what that cutoff is, but I'm gonna say for our purposes, I feel like in the past there was like a random one that made it that had like 100 ratings, but for our purposes, just because of how many books we still have, yeah, we still have like 105. I'm gonna get rid of anything with less than 1,000 ratings in it. So let's see. Okay, so we now have eliminated all the ones that have not enough ratings and then too low of a rating, except for one, because I wanted to keep it in here to show you guys. But okay, so normally what I would now do is I would do a sort by the rating and a sort by the rating, no, sorry, a sort by the average rating and then a sort by the number of ratings, followed then by thinking about like Book of the Month Club or Reese's Book Club placements. But I can only use it being in a blog post, so I think that I'm going to have to do a lot of judgment calls, and I honestly think that maybe that just means a lot of this is going to be purely number-based, because I think that's the closest I can get to simulating what this stupid robot thought. Okay, so let's start with the average rating. I mean, because I think, basically what I think this means is I'm probably going to have to try to figure out how to cross-index really high rating with really high number of ratings. So I think that's about as good as I can do. So right off the bat, you can see that Framed in Death is at the top. I mean, as it should be. But we need to take this out immediately because it's so far in a series that it's been, even though people love it, it never makes, even when there were like more rounds of voting, it would never make it. So I'm going to take that off. But you will see that the highest rating here, once I take that out, is for The Impossible Fortune. And I think that definitely is a good contender. So I think that should stay. I don't know what this dead draw is. Okay, Robert Galbraith. Even if it is popular, I don't care. I'm not putting Turfurry on my list. So we're going to kick that out. We have a Karen Slaughter that is both highly rated. It's the beginning of a series, and it has 50,000, so I think that should stay. I've never heard of this Tracy Crosswhite thing, so I may take that out. We'll see once we get into the number of ratings. I'm kind of just trying to get through the top 10 here. Okay, Marble Hall Murders. I think I had that one in my mind as like a X Factor pick, so I think that can stay. Then we've got a Harlan Coben, which has made the top 20 in the past. Grisham has made the top 20 in the past. Vera Wong, this is a sequel. So, and it did well last time, so I'm inclined to keep it. So that's what, top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This John Kellerman, I'm going to eliminate it on the same basis that it's number 40. So I just don't think that it'll make it. Actually, I can just get rid of this because I'm not going to read it. I just don't think a 40th book in the series is likely to make it. So we'll get rid of that one. Sandra Brown. I'm interested that was on their mystery list. I think of her as more romance, but maybe it's a different one. Steve Kavanaugh made the list in the past, and the killer question, I think, is just such a mystery that it's gonna, maybe that will be my X factor. And then I've heard some good buzz on All of Us Murderers. So I think if we're keeping like high rating, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, theoretically it should cut off at Witness 8. But I think, and this is where I'm having a hard time replicating the buffoonery of a machine. But I'm going to take out the ones that I've just not heard of or seen on the list before. Because I think this list of suspicious things, I'm guessing this might be like a hit because it has like an earlier pub date. So I'm wondering if it's this edition that like got it wider acclaim. So I'll leave that one and I'll take out Sandra Brown. Okay, so that gives us the 10-ish highest rating ones with some human reasoning. I'm sorry, I am a human, so I have to kind of intervene at some point. Now let's look at number of ratings. And here's where Freda comes in. Here we go. Okay, so we've got Alice Feeney. Okay. We've got 2 Fridas. How many Fridas? There's 4 total Fridas. They are all in this top 10. Okay. So interesting. The highest ratings, the first highest rating one is the Karen Slaughter, and it's like at number 10-ish. Then Vera Wong. And then we've got, this is a really interesting list, man, now that I'm looking at this. Okay, let's take out a couple. So here's my first hypothesis. I think they'll let 2 Fridas in the top 20, but I don't think they'll let 3, which is what I thought last time. I think they'll let 2 in, and honestly, I'm suspicious they're gonna just let 1 in. But since I'm a human, I don't want to overly index on, my subjective. Since these two have such close numbers of ratings together, I'm just going to say that those are the 2 that will make the top. And actually, this one's more recent, so I think that also probably means it just won't make it. It just hasn't had enough time to get that number of ratings. And then, where's the other one? Come here, little. Okay, Death Row. This is pretty low. This is like a much lower rating compared to the other 2. So I think that also makes sense to get rid of it. So I'm going to let 2 Fridas stand, okay? Then I am going to let the Alice Feeney stand. I'm going to let the Geneva Rose stand because she's popular. Ashley Flowers, I do think, made the list previously, so she's still here. John Mars, I'm interested to see that they were putting him in the mystery list, the mystery thriller. So yeah, I'll leave that there. Then we've got Heartwood. I haven't heard of that. Count My Luck. See, there's a lot of these I've just not heard of. Okay. And then, so that gets us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, wait, no, 8. So I get 2 more because these 2 were in the last one. So I do think Dan Brown will make it. I think that makes sense. And then I am going to make the judgment call to put King of Ashes in over The Maid's Secret just because I've seen so much, but honestly, if I was going to put more human, am I going to let The Maid's Secret come in? It's the sequel to a past winner. I think King of Ashes is certainly there. There's no way it's not. So I'm torn. Is there any others that I can just make my peace with getting rid of? I know if I'm letting myself have one subjective one, I'll stick with King of Ashes because I just think it's going to be there. Okay, so I think I have my top 20 trying to use its rationale. Let me show you what that looks like. Just a second. Okay, so this is my final list. Right now, I think it's sorted on average rating. And actually, I'm not gonna lie, not a terrible list. Using the logic that AI was supposed to use, this isn't a terrible prediction. However, comma, let me show you what it actually did. Okay, so let's just look at the top three. Its pick to win is Beautiful, Ugly by Alice Feeney, which is not a crazy pick because it does have so many ratings and she is a repeat author. So this isn't crazy. The Crash, which I think spoilers, is that what I'm going to pick to win? Yeah, that's what I'm going to pick to win is The Crash. So that's not, I can get on board with that. Julie Chan is Dead literally doesn't have enough, it's got a 3.45. So what is it doing in this list? And then look at the other stuff on this list, okay? Some of these are like, I guess in the realm, but look at what I picked versus what it's picking. To me, some of the wildest things on here is The Immigrant, Veronica's Story. Same list with a perfect 5.0 rating, but a tiny sample. Well, yeah, it has like 2 ratings. Like, some of this, it's just like, this is not a good list. It says I'd place, so like some of these are like within the realm. Like there's a Lisa Unger, there's a Sherry Lapina. I do think Most Wonderful Crime of the Year is an interesting pick because it was pretty buzzy. Housemaid's Wedding, again, like that's a sequel. That makes some sense. The Teacher came out last year, if I'm remembering rightly. It was in last year's. Housemaid's Wedding also came out last year, and also it says I placed it just outside my top 20. Actually, I don't think it was last year, but it says I just placed it outside my top 20, yet it's in the top 20 list. I'll let you just process the, like, terribleness of this. Look at this. Anyway, so this is what the computer thought would be the top. And then this is mine using the same criteria, which I think is a much more reasonable, realistic list. And theoretically, some closer to this is what it should have generated. So I actually am about to have to go back to a meeting. So I'm going to leave you with my top. I'll show you my top 20, and then I'll also show you my top 10 picks based on this. I'm going to pick The Crash to win. I don't like it, but the numbers don't lie. Though it did split last year, so actually I take that back. I'm actually going to agree with AI and say Beautiful Ugly, because I think that the Frida vote will split. So, anyway, I'll leave you with that. So let me know what you thought of my picks. Let me know what you thought of this experiment. Like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, hit the bell if you want to know when I'm going to post. Take care of yourself. And I'm going to go to a meeting, and then I'm going to go watch those Ashley and Meg videos. So I'll see you later.